Yo, what's up guys? It's Wang Tang here, talking about some Tribes Ascend maps. So today I got three main points to talk about. I made a huge note list just to make sure I stay on top of things. The first thing is going to be more and reintroducing maps. The second thing is going to be generators, and the third thing is going to be vehicle stations. So I'll leave links in the video right now so you can jump to either part if you want to. If not, we're just going to get started here with the more and reintroduced maps topic. Just as the topic says, I want to see more maps in Tribes Ascend or the reintroduction of old maps back into the game. So we'll start things off here. I want to see Old Bella back in the game. If you guys don't know, there's actually an Old Bella Omega version that's more of a wintry, kind of snowy feel compared to the desert one we have now. I would love to see two different versions of this map. Just have Bella Omega Winter, Bella Omega Summer. I just like to see some variety in the map choices, just something different to try out. I just think would be cool. I think it would be pretty easy. I don't know how exactly that works, but I'm pretty sure they can just enter it back in the game. Next, I want to see Hi-Rez redo Temple Ruins. I think this map has a ton of potential, and I think it's ruined by some of the generator options and the super long infinity routes. I'm going to get back to that when I get to the generator section, because that's mostly what I want to touch on. Third, I want to see new maps. Just like Terminus, I absolutely love it. It's got a great indoor feel and it's big. It's just a really unique map and I really like it. I want to see Broadside. If you guys don't know about that, that was one released about a year ago that people were like, hey, look at this. This is pretty cool. It's from the SDK. I don't know if it's possible to get that in the game, but if it is, that'd be really cool. Also, Manicore, some guy made a video on Reddit. Shout out to you. I will put, I'm going to use some of your footage, so I'll definitely give you a link in the description here, but it's called Manicore. It looks pretty cool, little rusty, like old version, not super graphically intense, so I think it would be kind of cool. Pretty much with this section, I just want to see new maps to give the game some vibrance, a reason for old people to come back and new people to come. Alright, so when we talk about maps, there's something else we need to discuss here that I wanted to add into this that I kind of forgot to. My first take is the difference between a pub match and a comp match. Now, the competitive scene is very picky with what maps they'll actually play. We're pretty much down to three: DX, ARCs, and Kata, and if pretty much, I think right now, Hi-Rez should focus on just getting people back in the game and introducing more fun pub matches. For example, Stonehenge, as dumb as it might be, and like looking back on it, like it's such a cancerous map, it was a lot of fun when that map came out. I enjoyed that map for so long, more than I'd like to admit, just running around, going in the gen room, and I think that's something we need to see again from Hi-Rez, is we need more reasons for people to come back, more just people having fun. Like, have that indoor feature. Don't worry about the map being perfect for competitive scenes yet. The community is already so picky on what maps they'll take. I'm sure it's almost impossible for you guys at Hi-Rez to make a map that people will all agree and be like, oh, that's a great comp map. People will complain regardless. I think just the more maps, more options, and just reasons to come back to the game. You gotta think of Tribes Ascend as like this PTS is a Tribes Ascend 2. This isn't a redoing Tribes Ascend. This is a new game we're almost working on. And I think a lot of ways to get people back into the game is by making new maps for them to try out. Everyone's played 40 million games of Catabatic and Arcs. People want to do something different, and at least that's my opinion on it. So I want to see a lot of map work, and I think just putting in new maps is the number one way to do it. Alright, so the next section I want to talk about is the generator, and generators in general. Now this is very interesting, and I'm not a big fan of generators because they kind of promote destacking, but I think that's kind of how they're implemented in the game right now. Most of the time, generators are inside a team's base, meaning there's the flag stand and there's a generator with a close proximity to each other. I think that could be worked on. I think maybe have a generator outside the base, kind of further away. This will at least spread out defenses, so even if it is a destack, most of the really cancerous people will be, somewhere else besides the flag stand off in the generator. Right now, most of those technicians that just sit there and camp the generator will get bored and then play flag defense. So now you have people with turrets all over the flag because no one's feeding them kills in the generator. So that's my first idea. The second idea is some maps like Dangerous Crossing don't have a generator. How about we throw one in the middle of the map? Just kind of like a free-for-all generator. And, kind of increase secondary objectives in the game. Just kind of out there, have it in the middle, have it control base turrets on either side, so whatever team is controlling the generator, they get base turrets and they get vehicle stations. and the other team doesn't. It'll just be something interesting to kind of keep into effect. Cappers, it wouldn't affect them at all, but people are going to be drawn to a generator as long as it's in the game. So at least try to make something different with it instead of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And my third thing, going about to Temple Ruins, double gen room. Now, if you guys don't know, Temple Ruins was actually redone, and now the generator room is upstairs. It's kind of in that back room, and it's just kind of chilling there. Well, it used to be completely underground, and it was my favorite gen room in the entire game when it was like that. Why don't we just have 2 gen rooms, keep the same one, and just put back in the underground area? And for the defense to actually have the generator officially up, so to say, they have to keep both generators alive. Now, you might say this will cause maybe more defense, maybe to a point, but also, again, it's about spreading out the people that are going to play defense. You have to acknowledge the fact that people are going to play defense regardless of what you do, and they're going to sit and they're going to camp. So at least spread them out. Have a couple people down low in the lower generator, and you got the upper generator. And if one of those generators goes down, they all go down, meaning you can't just camp one of them and keep all your assets alive. They both have to be up. So just an idea on the generators. So we're going to move on to our third topic here, which is going to be vehicle stations. Alright, so vehicle stations are a pretty interesting topic. I personally really like vehicles as they help on offense and, occasionally defense. I'm not a big fan of the Beowulf tank, and I am a pretty big fan of the Grab Cycle and the Shrike. However, I was not around when Shrikes were super OP, and I was told those were pretty cancerous. So, with that said, I think we should introduce vehicle stations on maps like CCR. It'd be really cool to have a vehicle station. That's the key here. I think we should have one vehicle station on some of these maps. Put it like right in the middle on that big hill, and teams can only get Shrikes and Grab Cycles, because I think Beowulf tanks will be driven to the high points on the map and used to shell their own stand or the other stand, and that's just not fun. But let's say like if one of the generators is up, it only takes one, it powers a centralized vehicle station. That centralized vehicle station lets teams get any vehicles they want with, of course, like the limit on 2 Shrikes per team. But you have to go travel, get that, and they'll be fighting over the vehicle station instead of it just being at the base. So I think maps like CCR, that'd be really cool to have it. There's already a spot that looks like there should be a vehicle station there. Also, Terminus needs a vehicle station. That map is one, it's just too big to have no vehicles and no mobility. And 2, that middle mountain has a hole, and it looks like it'd be a perfect spot for a really awesome vehicle station. You put one in there, and like the vehicles can like float up to the top. I think that'd be really cool. Just throw one there, one generator up. It's powered, so you don't even have to have your generator up, as long as the enemy team's generator up. That's gonna help offense as well. If the other team's camping their generator and it's up and you can't get your generator up, you can get a Shrike or a Grab Cycle and start running slides out of that. And that way you get some flag movement going. Just another point I want to make with vehicle stations is I would love to see the Havoc implemented in the game. I know it's been in the game files. Of course, I am not a coder or anything. I don't even know how things get into games. I'm not sure how hard that is for you guys at Hi-Rez, but I just love to see that, and I think that's such a cool feature that would just make tribes so awesome to have on the bigger maps like Terminus, where you just get 6 people in a big-ass helicopter and you fly around and shoot people for a while, you drop down, clear the stand. Just some cool features like that I think would be really awesome. Well guys, that's all I have for you. I want to keep this short and sweet. I know Hi-Rez just released this second version of the private test server like right now, so I'm going to go play that. I hope Hi-Rez takes a look at this, and I hope you guys, think about my ideas, suggest your own. This is a really exciting time, and I think we can really help Hi-Rez better the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you next time. Peace out.
Till I die.